Hi, everyone. This is independent consultant and executive regional vice president Jenna Bolton, and I am training you guys on verbiage with this training. And so what I want to talk to you guys about is when you first start your business, there are a lot of things you need to consider, but one of the main things is being really authentic and true to yourself and coming across when you start a new business, coming across in a way that is coming from a place of love and like not a lot of pressure. And sometimes that's hard to do because when you first start your business, you're so excited and you want to reach out to everyone, and it's very easy to kind of like, I want to say like barf Arbonne all over everyone. And I remember when I first started 5 years ago, I did that. I was like ignorance on fire. I was just like messaging everyone, didn't care. And then what I slowly realized was that like you can't chase QV. You can't be QV hungry. You have to just literally, and this is where the PG comes in, you have to be leading this business from a place of like love. So I just want to like, remind you all that it does take a little bit of work to get to that place of like, you know what, I'm going to take the end result out of the equation, and I'm not going to put too much pressure on like making a sale. It's not about that, right? So we just have to go from a place of like from our heads to our hearts. And that's when our business really gets it gets fun and it's a lot easier. So all about verbiage today. I'm just going to give you guys, this isn't going to be a very long training, but I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks. And then we're going to just I'll go through like an example with you of how I've reached out to people in the past. Okay. So I'm going to give you kind of some like what to do and what not to do. So there's some things like, so some people like to post when they when they reach out to someone. So let's just talk about Instagram. When you're reaching out to people on Instagram, you're building relationships. At the end of the day, we are building relationships. So you want to think about the type of people that you want to attract into your business. And then you want to start looking for those kinds of people on Instagram. So you want fun, successful, like influential kind of leaders, people that are already really good at something that they do would be really good for Arbonne. And then you also want to like, your vibe attracts your tribe. So however you're portraying yourself, or not portraying, but like, think about who you are and like think about the things you like to do, and then start to like search hashtags or find people like that have commonalities, like the things you like to do. So let's just say you're reaching out to someone, and something not to do, you guys, is to say like, hey, would you join my team? And then send your link. Okay. That is a huge no-no. We do not want to do that. Could you imagine? I always like to say, like, put yourself in the other person's shoes. And if like, could you imagine getting that kind of message? Would that make you want to join that person's team? Or would you go, wow, that person didn't even take the time to like actually get to know me, and she's just sending me her link for her store? Like, it's so not personable. And it's just, it will honestly send that person to like, maybe block you, but just like never speak to you again. So you're almost like doing yourself a disservice when you are like trying to make a sale, right? So it's always getting back to like leading with love and taking the end result out of it, and just truly and genuinely wanting to build relationships with people. I think that's what kind of held me up in the beginning of my business, was that like, I know this is going to sound terrible, but I really didn't have any interest in making more friends. I was like, you know what? I have lots of friends, and like I like my friends, and I don't really need any more. But then I realized like, no, like actually it's kind of cool to learn about different people and where they come from and what they do and what like drives them to do things in their lives. And like, I now love meeting new people. So when I go on a vacation, or when like I go places, I actually have a wholeheartedly like intent of like meeting people and wanting to meet people. So I think that's really important, is to just like, if you're just the type of person that's like, I don't need any friends and I don't really want to meet anyone, then you might have to like work on that a little bit in order to come across in like a really like authentic way. Okay. So don't post your links. Don't even like, if you have an Instagram, if you have like, obviously everyone has Instagram, but if you have an account, I wouldn't even put your link in your bio at the top, because honestly, I used to do that and I never had a sale. So what's like, all it's doing is like showing that you're trying to be like buy stuff from me. So like, just take it right out. It's not beneficial. There are certain things that are compliant in what we can say and what we can't say for the full listing. And like, guys, if you have a question, if you're like going to do a reach out or you're going to post something on social media and you're like, I don't know if I can say that, just honestly, like text your upline and be like, I just want to post this. Like, is this compliant? Like, can I say this? And if you want to see the full, like I said, all the full details about what's compliant, what's not, you just have to go to the source so in your My Office, go to the source, and then there's something called best. So it's like our ethics and standards. So you can just go into best and it'll say straight out like what you can say, what you can't say, et cetera, et cetera. So I would highly suggest you guys all review that just to have like knowledge. If you're going to be posting anything, sorry, this is like not so much verbiage, but kind of verbiage in the sense of like not reach outs, but like posting to social media. If you're going to post anything about like we don't gift, like some of the consultants in the US gift, like Gucci and Louis Vuitton and like crazy things like that, for like when they're ENVPs, they'll gift their other NVP, something like that. And honestly, guys, like my journey isn't typical. To see average earnings and what is typical, please see earnings.arbonne.com. But if you were to receive like I don't know, a Gucci belt or something, or your Tiffany's when you promote to area, if you received a Tiffany's bracelet, you just have to hashtag in your social media post, hashtag my personal life. And then that means like it's your life, like you're talking about your life. You're not talking about Tiffany's associated with Arbonne. So as long as you put that hashtag my personal life, you're good. And then obviously when you make it to the VP level, you get a cash bonus for your Mercedes-Benz. If you're posting anything about a Mercedes, like a Mercedes-Benz, anything, and Arbonne, you have to put the disclaimer, and excuse me, and the disclaimers again are in best. So you can go and review what those disclaimers are. I would highly suggest you just, I create like a notes section on my phone for Arbonne, and then I've put the disclaimers right in there. So when I go to do an Instagram post, I just refer to those, because sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh, what is it again? Like the top 2% in Arbonne is VPs, and we have to say the success award for Mercedes-Benz. And so there's sometimes I forget. So I just refer back to it. So I would highly suggest you also do that. Okay. So I have some notes here, so I'm referring to some of them. Okay, so a couple other things we can't say is you can create time freedom with Arbonne or financial freedom. You cannot say those things. You can't explain to people how fast you moved up through the levels. So you can't say, I became a DM in like 1 month. I promoted to RVP in 3 months. Like you can't say that. So you can share that your journey. Like you can share that, I promoted to DM, and I worked really hard, and then we promoted to area, but you just can't put like an actual date on it, if that makes sense. Okay, so something that you should do when you're reaching out to people and doing like I'm talking back to verbiage now, is voice memos. So voice memos are so, so important, because when someone can hear your voice and hear your excitement, and they can kind of even if you mess up what you're saying, it shows that you're real and that you're not following a script. So that leads me to what not to do is don't copy and paste. Okay. So if someone, if I send you some verbiage examples, don't copy and paste them, tweak it to so it sounds more coming from you. Right. So sometimes I'll say to people hi love, if that's not you, then don't say hi love, put something say their name or whatever. I don't like hey girl. I don't ever use hey girl. I just find it so salesy and marketing. And I just don't like to say that. So I always just say their name, or I'll be hey love or hey beauty or something like that. So that's what I do. So voice memos are key. I know some of you might be oh my gosh, I'm too scared to send a voice memo. Honestly, once you do a couple of them, it's easy peasy. And like I said, if you mess up, it shows that you're a real person and the other person actually values that more than a script. Okay, so yeah, so off the cuff shows that you're real and like authentic. So I like that. Always, so there's a couple things to your messages when you do your like reach out or building relationships. There's a couple of key things in your message that they need to have. So one is you always want to finish your reach out with an open-ended question. So I always say like, would you be open to hearing what a little more about what Arbonne's about? So would you be open to hearing a little more about Arbonne? And then it's ending with a question. So they have to, when they answer you, they're going to be like, you know what? Like, I've heard about it. I just don't know if it's for me. Right. So, and I'll tell you how I would respond to that in a second. But, the other thing I always say is there's no pressure or obligation at all. So in your reach out, you always want to state that because it takes the pressure off them. If you don't say that, then they feel like, oh my gosh, this girl, like, do I have to buy something? Like, oh my gosh, what do I have to do to make her go away? And that's like, you know, some people they don't have the courage to actually just say like, nope, this isn't for me. Please don't message me again. Like some people are just like really like him and haw and tiptoe around trying to like be nice to you, but like they don't really want to tell you to like So if you're getting that, like if you've reached out to someone a few times and they're like, oh, I'm just so busy, like, oh, I'll get to it, or oh my gosh, like, yes, I'm so sorry, oh, like, or they just don't respond, and or they do really quick and it's just vague. What I would do is I would just message them. If it's say you're like fifth time touching in with them, I would just say, honestly, like, I just don't want to bug you. I'm so sorry if I am, but just let me know if this is like not something that you're interested in at all. Just let me know because I don't want to keep bothering you. And sometimes when you say that, people are like, oh, like you're not bothering me at all. I'm just legit so busy. And then if they say that, you're like, okay, so I can still keep touching base with her because she's just really busy. But if they say to you, like, you know what, honestly, I just really am not, like, it's not for me. And I'm not like, I don't have any interest in trying the products and I really don't have any interest in the business. So please just like, yeah, I'm good. So if you get something like that, you kind of have to just like take it how it is. Like, honestly, it's a no, that's okay. Next. Right. So don't beat yourself up. Don't think that it's you. Maybe, who knows, like down the road, maybe they'll reach back around. Who knows? You can keep them in your funnel of 100 people, of your 100 people list. But just if someone says to you, like, go yourself, like, I never want to talk to you again, then take them off. Like, don't ever talk. Don't just leave that one alone. But if someone's just like, oh, you know what? Like, if I love when people say like, oh, you know what? Just, I don't know if right now is the right time, but I have been kind of like, I do really want to learn a little bit more about it, but I just don't think I am ready right now. That's a great response because you can kind of like break it down, ask them more questions, and then keep following up with them. Maybe send them some samples, like massage the relationship a little bit, and then maybe in like 3 months they will be ready. You never know like what changes in people's lives, right? Like, so everyone goes through seasons of life, and like say they, like, God forbid, have a sick child that they have to pay like bills for, all of a sudden, like maybe they want to start an Arbonne business so that they can help relieve some of that financial pressure. You just never know what people are going through. I also like to say, no pressure, obligation. This may or may not be a fit for you. So by saying that, you're also taking the pressure off because this business isn't for everyone. It's for a lot of people, but it's not for everybody, right? So just say that also takes the pressure off. And then, so I'll give you an example of how mine kind of sounds. I have it on my phone here. And I have to point out, this message that I sent this girl was from February 14th, a really long time ago, right? So anyways, I messaged her because I was following her profile a little bit, and I was genuinely like, okay, I could see myself being friends with this person. So I'm just going to reach out to her because I had like a tug at my heart. So I just wrote, hey love, I've been following your profile for a little bit, and I feel compelled to ask you this. And it may or may not be a fit for you, and that is totally okay. There's no pressure or obligation at all. And I'm really, sometimes I say, and I'm really not in the convincing business. Sometimes I say this, sometimes I don't. I just say, like, I have a super successful business. I'm really not trying to like pressure you at all, but I just have to ask, have you ever considered doing something like Arbonne? And then you can say, I would love to share a little bit more about what I do and what Arbonne's about. Would you be open to hearing? So I obviously didn't even have to read that because I know like this is how I kind of like send, that's like my main verbiage. Okay, so if you're new to the business, you could also add in there that you're just trying to get some practice sharing Arbonne, and you just need a set of ears and eyes to just practice on. So a lot of people will actually be willing to do a favor for you. So you could just say, oh my gosh, I know this is just gonna like sound a little bit like random, but I've been just following your profile. I'm new into the Arbonne world. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, but I'm just looking for a couple faces to practice and share what Arbonne is, just because I just started my business. Would you do me a huge favor and give me 15 minutes of your time? If you do, I will send you a sheet mask and a couple fizz in the mail just as a thank you. So like most people will probably be like, oh my gosh, no problem. Like, yeah, like, okay. And then what happens is they hear about Arbonne and then they get the wheels spinning. And then maybe at that moment, they were just like really genuinely doing you a favor and listening into what you had to say. But then they're like, oh, actually, holy, like I didn't realize that about Arbonne, or, oh, I didn't know you could make that money with Arbonne, or like the community, I didn't know that existed. And then people start thinking like, oh, and so that's kind of our job, right? Sometimes it's not about just like having a one-on-one with someone and being like, yep, they're going to sign up right after this. We have to have like several touches with these people to, and I would show you my screen again of like literally the conversation, how long of a conversation. So you can see, right? Like, it's not just a one and done. It's like you build and massage the relationship. So I hope that makes sense for everyone. And also if you're new, or even if you're not new and you're just like, let's say you started your business and then you kind of stopped it and you're now getting back into it. If you're just like wanting a refresh on your verbiage, you can send your upline like a screenshot or whatever of your verbiage of what you're going to write someone and just say like, does this sound okay? Is this okay? Please, like anytime you guys want to do that, reach out to us. And then if we say like, oh my God, that sounds great, send it off. Like, I can't wait to hear. Then let's just say that person responds and you don't know how to respond to their response. You can also screenshot us what their response was and we can help you, coach you through how to talk to them. So I think that's super important for you guys to understand and know that we're here for you in that respect, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, I have no idea how to ask this person, or I have no idea how to respond. Well, that's where your upline comes in, because we were all in that place too, right? We were all in that scarcity mindset of like, oh my gosh, like none of us really know what the heck we're doing when we first started an Arbonne business, but we lean on our like upline and we are coachable. So like when my upline told me like, do this and this is what your messages should look like, and you need to do the daily method for success and this, I listened to her. And now in the first couple months of probably a good 8 months into my business, I wasn't very coachable. I thought like, no, like I know what I'm doing. I'm good. No, I wasn't, because I stayed as a DM for like a year and a half. So no. So really when we tell you guys to be coachable and duplication is so important in this business, we're not joking. Like it's true. Like you need to follow your upline's advice, and we're not managers of you guys. We're not like holding your hands. Like we will hold your hand if you are holding our hand back. Right. But if you're just like, we're not going to hold your hand and like spoon feed everything to you, but like show us that you're interested and show us that you're being coachable, and we will coach you. And if you're not showing us that respect back, then we're like, what do you want? Like, we're all very busy people, right? So I think it's really important to have that, like, okay, I'm respecting you. I'm listening to what you're telling me. I'm doing the things, and that's how your business is going to grow. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I'm going to leave it there. Again, if you ever have questions about like verbiage, or like, you're just like, I don't know, please reach up, right? Or like reach out to someone that's like maybe been in the business a little bit longer than you, or that you like think, you know, oh, okay, they'll know if one of us is not available or something. But yeah. Okay. So I think that's it for now. And I hope you found this helpful, and we'll talk to you guys soon.